Leafs talk, JD Bunkis, Sam McKee. Leafs get a W. Brother, I got to tell you right now that I know the Leafs got outshot. I know that if that game is played probably 10 times, they lose it more than they win it.
Mm-hmm.
But I came away from this one thinking we talked about their identity a few shows ago, right? And how the Leafs win and how it's supposed to look like.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to tell you, against a good team, that's sort of what I expect it to look like for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Really good goaltending, taking away the middle of the ice, letting the team shoot a bunch from outside on the perimeter, a bunch of dump and chase, not a ton of shots, and a really good-looking Austin Matthews in a power play goal. Maybe a couple bounces go your way. I thought the Leafs did it their way tonight.
That, to me, that third period is as impressive a third period or any period that the Leafs have played, in recent memory. Like, if I'm not going to say all season because I've watched a lot of periods of Toronto Maple Leaf hockey, but in recent memory, that third period was as dominant against a really good hockey team as I've seen them have. And it was defensive, it was details, it was back checks by the forwards, it was the connected group, it was getting one of the funniest goals of all time.
Yeah.
We can get into that, but I thought that for a lot of the first two periods, it looked like the Avalanche were from a league above, faster, harder on pucks, competing harder, just beating the Leafs to a lot of spots. And I don't know what was said between the second and third period, but adjustments were made. And I thought the Leafs were fantastic in the third period. Really impressed with them. And I thought, we can talk about the bounce, we can talk about that or whatever. You make your own luck, You get your own bounces, and really impressive stuff from the Leafs in the third.
Yeah, I thought so too. Again, first period was like Joe Woll just had to be Joe Woll. He made some really great stops in the second as well, I thought, where they started to get a little loose in their own zone, and Colorado was
second period was unbelievable. He was so good, and they couldn't touch the puck for the last 2 or 3 minutes of the second period.
They basically just took it over. But I actually don't want to start with Woll talk tonight. Okay. I want to start with Matthews talk because here's the thing, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Joe Woll tonight. He was solid, and he made some really critical saves, and I think that Berube showed faith in him, saying, hey, this guy got a win. He liked his game lately, and he went with him. And lately, based on the way that the split has been, I think that it was a little controversial, that decision. So he rewarded him for it. But the story of this game to me is Austin Matthews. He finished with 8 shots in this game. And again, early on, I thought that 11 attempts, 8 shots. I thought that Nathan McKinnon was winning the battle early. And they went head-to-head with that line. Berube decided that they weren't going to try to avoid it, wasn't going to try to get cute, just said, your guy versus my guy. And as the game went on, I thought Austin Matthews got better and better and better, and he was dangerous. And of course, his goal, the power play, is like off of a bounce, but he was threatening. He was creating for his teammates. He was turning over the Avalanche tonight. Like, this is the second straight game where he's had some jump to his game. And I got to say, way more than the Woll performance, in terms of things that are encouraging me right now, it's like Austin Matthews. And it gets back to that same thing that I was talking about, which is, what's the Leafs' identity? It always is going to start with 34.
Yeah. And we can talk about him having 2 goals on Monday and him looking good against the Flames, who we both agree stink, although they went into MSG somehow yesterday and won that game in the second half of back-to-back.
Rangers stink too.
I know, but that's a stink fest, those two teams. But I thought Matthews tonight was much better than he was against the Flames. I thought tonight was a really, really impressive night for him against elite competition. And you see that the play in the third period where Nyes absolutely skies a tap in, but wins a puck battle on the sideboards. Then the puck goes down below the dots. Cale Makar has the puck in his feet, strips Cale Makar, passes the puck through Cale Makar's feet onto Matthews Nyes' stick. He misses, and then he gets another chance in the slot within like 2 or 3 seconds, it felt like. And I just got to say that, I've on my TikTok algorithm, I'll have some like old Matthews clips come up where it was like the series when they beat Tampa in that game 6 where he had the 1 goal in regulation. And it's like his highlights from that game. And I'm like, God, where's that guy been all year? And that looked like that guy tonight. He had the puck on his stick, creating for others, chances, dangerous. And in a tough stretch where they were really bad against some, good teams like the Panthers where there is a good team. Obviously, Ottawa's a good team. These 2 games were as leadery as it gets for me when it comes to Matthews, where he just came out and he put his you-know-what on the table and just kind of asserted himself and really, really took the bull by the horns and was the best player on the ice for his team for 2 games in a row that they won and they desperately needed. So
yeah, I said on my show today that I think that this is actually it's unquestionably the biggest stretch for Matthews in terms of judging his leadership before the playoffs. Like, they've got this incredibly important run of games coming up. They've got a bit of a soft schedule here for the following week. Like, this was the big game that was going to be a target for them, a big opportunity for them to like get a massive win at home. Yeah. And he is always going to be the lead by example guy and lead with swagger guy. And he had both of them tonight. And you and I talk about when it's going for him outside of just like knowing when the puck's in the net. And like, he's a good defensive player. If you watch all the little details of his game, he's always solid, right? He's never just like a minus for your team. No. But my thing with Matthews that I look for, which is just like the easiest thing for when he's got it going, is when 34 feels big. And he felt big tonight.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about how he's taken the, quote unquote, softer route to pucks a lot of times this year. The lack of contact routes where he's kind of going on the opposite side of a guy, going for a stick lift and not going through guys. Tonight, it didn't feel like that. Shoulder to shoulder a lot of the time, getting underneath guys' sticks, taking the aggressive route to pucks. And that's when he's really going, like you said, he feels big, and he felt big tonight. And he was big for the Leafs. I thought just, as good as he was Monday, tonight against that team was really, really impressive. So good for him to put 2 in a row.
They needed Woll, and like I'm seeing in the chat, like Ty says, Woll stole the game tonight. Matthews great, but scores 2-1. If Woll doesn't make those saves tonight, this game is over in the second period. It's like, okay, again, like the Leafs are just not going to be a team that matches Colorado shot for shot. Like, they play a completely different style where Colorado has that blue line where they like to transport the puck. They like to hold on to it. They shoot the puck from the outside with their blue line a ton, try to create havoc. Yeah. But it's just like, go through it. Like, watch this game. When you see the shot chart, I really did think that Woll was good. Again, not taken away from him. Made some huge saves in this game. No doubt about it. But I thought the Leafs did a good job of taking away the middle of the ice. I thought they did a good job of taking away Nathan McKinnon late in that game. Like, how many dangerous opportunities did Nathan McKinnon have in the third period? One where it was like that fan or the broken stick where it ends up like on his tape and he kind of jams into the pad. Like,
Brock Nelson save in the third period.
Yeah,
or was that in the second?
No. I'm just saying Nathan McKinnon. Like, but the Brock Nelson save too was like, that's a broken play, right? It was like, it's a broken play where Brock Nelson ends up right in the slot and Woll makes a great one. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, this was a little bit of a styles make fights game for me. I don't think that the Leafs played as poorly as people will look at the shot chart and say like, oh, they just got dominated. Like, the first was bad. There's just no doubt about it. Colorado looked like the way better team in the first, and they closed the second period where it was like, damn, these guys are probably turning it on. I think if you're looking at the template of how the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to win games, they're going to rely on their goaltender to make a few saves. They're going to try to keep things out to the perimeter, and they're going to score on the power play and ask a lot of Austin Matthews. And like, I think that this was like a good game for them. Like, I really do. The shot chart is going to tell one story. I thought this was a really quality game for them.
I think if you went through, I don't know if I don't have time. Maybe I should have done this before the show, but like, if you went through the Avalanche game logs for the past month, how many times do they not outshoot a team? Like, that's a premier team in the league that comes into your building, and like, they're really, really good. And
so, I mean, you still held them to 1 goal.
Yeah.
Like no matter how you did it, like your goaltender, your blue line, which I think was really quality tonight, like the attention to detail, the puck battle wins that they had, like this was a good game. I just don't think that you can really complain about this one. And, by the way, Matthews stat, he's now tied with Sundin for home goals.
Yeah. He's getting, how many away from Matthews for total goals is he? Like,
yeah, he's still like more than a full season, I think, away from that. But like, I thought that was a little jarring.
More than a full season? No way. I think he's got 390. Is that 395? Matthews is 420.
I got to see that. I thought that was another full season away for him. Like, that was going to be something that was like a next year thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Next year.
Yeah. But I'm saying like from now.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I'm saying from now to like the end of the season, like he's not breaking that early next year. He's breaking that late in next season. So like, anyway, we're parsing here. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying like, yeah, he's got it well in lock, but I thought that it was close. Yeah, so he's 35 goals off.
Yes.
Or 25 goals.
25 goals off. Yeah. So he'll get 5 more this year. He'll get to, and then he'll score 20.
No, he'll get it
we're talking like December next year.
No, he's closer than I thought. I got to admit, I hate it.
It's crazy how fast he got him. It is really remarkable.
I don't like it at all. Like Sundin was the best Leaf that I ever watched throughout my entire like childhood and young adulthood. And it was like to see Matthews just cruise past him after he's had like a broken wrist one year. And like, he's got
flying to Germany on Loop 10s of Matthews flying to Germany.
Exactly. He's like light work. He's gonna pass him. Like he's gonna be so far ahead of Sundin. People are gonna look at Sundin stats and little kids are gonna go, was he even good? And I'll be like, he was really good. He was really, really good. So he played with much worse players. You should see what his line mates were. He didn't get to play with Mitch Marner all the time. All right. I'm gonna get defensive, but I won't.
So you're talking a little bit about Woll, and sure, like Leafs are pretty good defensively at parts, but I know as the member of the two king members of the Stolars group, I don't know, or the Stol Army, I don't know what you'd want to call it. I gotta say, it's a statement game for Woll tonight. It's a statement game. Like I think you put Stolars in there. He's definitely not the reason that they lose against Florida. He's not the reason they lose per se against Ottawa by any stretch of the imagination. When he comes back with Woll on Monday, I don't think Woll needs to be particularly good. That's a blowout game where he has to make a couple good saves all night. But then if you're, like you said, there was some surprise that they were going to Woll tonight. If you're going for like the natural rotation, you would have gone to Woll, but the coach plays a hunch. And he says, I liked his game recently. No other reason than I liked his game recently. And he goes out there against one of the premier competitions in the NHL. He makes 38 saves. Like coaches love it when you reward them and make them look smart. And he made Berube look really, really smart as a card carrying member of the Stol Army here. This is a big night for Joseph Woll tonight. This is a statement game for me.
It really was. And here's my position with it. You just want the best guy. Yep. Like you want the guy. This is the advantage that you have when you have two number ones is you play whoever's hot going into the postseason. And I think that this was kind of always the way. I'm of two minds because one, they entered the season with hopes that this was going to be the situation, that Woll was going to be the starter.
Yep.
I think that if you talk to most goalie people, they still believe that Woll is the higher upside of the two guys. But I just want to remind people in these moments.
Valley came on our show yesterday and dropped all this incredible knowledge about how Woll and all this stuff. Like if you want to hear some stuff on that, go back to Kipper and Bourne yesterday. He's got a lot of stuff on it. So
But I'll just tell you one thing. Goals saved above expected over 60 minutes. Stolars is second in the NHL in that stat. Since the Four Nations break, and I know that because Woll had 2 bad games, but Stolars has been still above league average in every underlying category and has had better numbers than Joe Woll. And so to me, it's like you're not making this decision of just like who the guy is based on tonight. You're making this decision like with all of the time you have, which is like a month down the season. And I'm not saying not to be excited about this game. I was excited about this game. Again, phenomenal performance by him. I wasn't trying to take things away by starting with Matthews. All I was saying is that I still think it's more important to this team to have Austin Matthews going. I don't think I have a hope and a prayer without Austin Matthews being a stud. Like, you just can't have the most expensive player in the NHL be a shell of himself and expect that the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to win a Stanley Cup. Like they're built around Matthews. They have 2 very good goaltenders. And I just think that you might exhaust yourself if every single night where one of these goalies plays well, you're saying, well, like he's the starter. I'm going to maintain my position as of right now. If my life was on the line, Stolars is in net. I think that there's a toughness to him. I think there's a size to him that permeates with the rest of the team. But it's not a hardline position. This is like a 55-45 spot that I've got here. Joe Woll gets hot. He keeps doing what he did tonight. He's going to be the starting goaltender, and they're not going to be afraid to do it.
No, I agree. I just wanted to. I was impressed tonight. I thought some of the studies he made. He just looked solid in there. He's snapping it. Just when he just looks confident. I think you can just tell early with him. To me, like I thought even on the Calgary game. Like there's a couple, like that first one's shaky. The couple that kind of hit the post, he's not seeing it well. But when he's seeing it, you can tell early. And tonight was one of those nights that he was just locked in, and it was going to be a good night for him. So
you know why you feel that way, though, man? It's because he is a rhythm goalie. Like this is the catch-22 with Woll is I kind of think that he needs to play a lot to be a good player. Like, I don't think that he handles the time off the way that Stolarz does, who's been like a backup for a lot of his career, sat out a bunch of games. I think that guy likes to feel the puck. And even if you think about the Calgary goal, right? The softie that he lets in, it's an entire period where he's not facing any pucks. What happens in this one? Colorado comes in and they just start peppering it. They're firing it from all angles. They're trying to get rebounds. They're shooting from the point. They don't care. They want to get the puck on net. Woll feels the puck, gets his confidence going, locks into the game, and doesn't give up really anything for the rest of it. So no, I thought he was brilliant tonight. My last thought on that, by the way, like in terms of the shot count, I actually think that there's probably 2 lessons from Colorado that the Leafs can take. One of them is like a big picture thing that I'm not going to get into. But I will just mention that they moved off of a player and they were able to like supplement the salary. And it's like, for anyone that thinks it's like the end, if they are ever to lose Mitch Marner, I think you need to look at the Colorado model and say like, yeah, you can sprinkle the money around and try to get depth. And when they won the Stanley Cup, it wasn't just with the Rantanens of the world. It wasn't just with Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar. They were able to add depth to their team with Nazem Kadri as like the third line center and win a Stanley Cup. So just something perspective.
Because of the fantastic contract that Sweet Lou Lamoriello signed Nazem Kadri to. Him and Morgan Riley, was it 4.5 that they signed those contracts to? And that's a huge reason the Colorado were able to win the Stanley Cup, right?
They were able to get all those guys under the cap, right? But the main thing is, I would just like to see Toronto take a few more shots, just fire some pucks at the net and try to get a few rebound goals, or like, they got the one the other night, right? Where Domi ripped it in. What was it? It's just like a puck that went to the net, gets kicked out, and then he's right in the sweet spot and he rips one home. And for a team that's really struggled to generate offense 5-on-5, I'm just not sure you want to be going like they did tonight again, where it's like you're generating, what was it? At the first period, they started off 6-0 in shots, then it was 9-1. And then I think the period closed with Colorado up 12-4.
12-5. I think it was 13-5 or 12-5 at the end.
Yeah, it was 12-4. Chances for were 21-11. And again, Toronto's going to play a different kind of game. They want to dump and chase. They're a little bit more selective with their shots, but you just see what it does for you having like an offense like Colorado's, where guys are willing to put the puck at the net. Didn't work for them tonight, but like there was a lot of dangerous opportunities, and Toronto's goaltender was required to have like an elite performance to keep multiple pucks out of the net. I know Toronto hit a couple of posts that changes the shots. They had their opportunities too. That's why I think it was a closer game. But if you're Toronto, steal a little bit of that. Steal a little bit of those pucks towards the net. Pepper the goalie just a touch more, please.
Can we talk about the Lorentz play now? Because it's a huge moment in the game.
A huge moment in the game. It's the game-winning goal. Like it's the moment of the game.
I got to tell you, buddy. So this is a shout out to this is a story about going to watch my old man play hockey. My mom and I would go watch my dad play in the Puffer League when I was a kid, and he was like this old guy league. And my mom and I, there were always a couple guys would fall, and we just like laugh so hard. And it's like, we've had this connection of like guys falling on ice is like, I think the funniest thing, like that guy who hits in Vancouver, who hits the mat and falls and goes, oh, while he's like singing the anthem. Like guys just falling like this on ice to me is one of the funniest things. And I got to tell you, I couldn't watch for like 3 minutes after, because I had tears in my, this is the funniest fall. Like it's just it's just the biggest old guy fall of all time. Like he toe picks, he's trying to get it away. And is there a more Canadian guy than Kelly Sutherland?
And not only does he toe pick,
but
it's like
guilty
the fall is hard.
Ever. Hard fall.
The fall is hard, and he gets up, and I've been there before. And you fall hard like that, and you just do the like pop right back up. I'm fine.
I'm good.
But then as he pops back up, you can see he's like registering what happens. Like he does like a little shoulder check, and he sees Lorentz coming, and guaranteed his brain is like, even in that moment for a split second, he's like, please don't go in. When he has to do the point, he's like, oh God. And he skates over. And
just apologize immediately. Most Canadian guy.
Yeah. He's just like, damn it. He's so choked that ended up happening. Like, he's like, it's I bit it. That's exactly what that is. You're so right. Like a fall like that, a big, good, hard fall. Excellent stuff. And I tweeted this, but it's like, if you're a Leafs fan, you just can't really complain about the rest.
Look at this fall. Like, oh
yeah.
And he's just feeling so guilty. And like you said, please don't score. Please don't score. No. Please don't score. Yeah. Rip big to one knee, Selly. like Lorentz, it's the moment of the game. And I thought that like it's a great play by Lorentz to fire that home, who's actually got a sneaky great shot. And I think that's, what is he up to, 6 on the year now, or 7 on the year? 3 game winners, I believe now. So like, not to project everything towards playoffs, but this is a playoff type game, tight game. You're not going to get a bounce off of falling old man ref every night, but like, this is the type of goal they never get from another guy. When it's a 1-1 game or a 2-1 game or a 3-2 game, they never get the goal from your insert Max Lapierre, whatever name you want to, or whatever. Oh, sorry, Max Talbot. That's the name I was trying to pick up. Whatever name you want to insert, they never get that goal. And just having a guy that kind of has a little bit of a knack for it. When it lands on his stick, he knows what to do. He's in on the forecheck. It's a great goal and a big moment in the game. Obviously, game winner, fires it home. Good for Lorentz, and I think he's had a really good first year as a Leaf.
2 things. One is when the ref recognizes Lorentz, he's like, "Oh, thank God!" And then Lorentz decides to have the shot of his season. Right?
Nice. No, his shot of the season was in the second game when he went like backhand bar down through the slot against the Devils. That was his shot of the year.
Yeah, that felt like a big game too, because it was Keith. Like, that was a good one. But
He's
both those
1-0 opening night. We're like, they're never gonna score.
Yeah. Kelly Sutherland getting 15% of the vote right now in the chat for player of the game, because like, he's got to be considered. Like, Kelly has to be considered.
Sorry, Cal.
Secondarily, huge goal for Lorentz, because like, I hear what you're saying about have the moment in the postseason, but now it's time for negative talk in this game. The fourth line got cratered tonight.
No.
Like, cratered, brother. Don't look at the numbers. Don't even look at
Luke. I saw Luke said something. There was like 10-0 scoring chances with them on the ice.
It was a complete calamity for the fourth line. And like, here's the thing, brother. You're putting those guys together because they're meant to be at least a serviceable shutdown line.
Yeah.
And if you want to talk about like chemistry, that ain't a thing with these fellas. Like, sorry, they're not trying to be Anson Carter with the Sedins out here and figure out where they're going on the ice. These are supposed to be 3 checking forwards that play physically, win some draws, and can kill a few minutes for you. And there was a moment where they got stuck out on the ice versus McKinnon and I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. I think it was the second period. And it was like Harlem Globetrotter stuff. I was like, I can't believe that they didn't get scored on here. And I just
the best version of the fourth line is Holmberg, Kampf, and Yarncroc. That's the best version of it. When they put those guys out there as Holmberg is the fourth line center, get David Kampf back in the lineup.
Yeah.
Honestly, and I don't know who you take out, but maybe it's the guy you traded a first-round pick and your third best prospect for.
No, you can't do that. Like, so
here's what I think of Robertson, I guess.
No, I think that there's 2 things. There's 2 things linked in this game for me. Okay, like that I saw tonight, and the Tavares Nylander line ended up closing the game really strong. They finished with like
really great shifts at the end of the game.
Right at the end of the game, they closed it strong. But I think they tried 3 different wingers with them tonight. And I'll tell you right now, like if I'm going to do like critical talk, I need to see more from Bobby McMahon, brother. Like I need you to finish a check. I need you to touch somebody, dude. You're 6'4", and the recent stretch of play for him is the big reminder as to why he was a healthy scratch to start the season. He's been a ghost. And like, I get it.
He got 1 hit in with a cross check late in that game there.
Buddy, I'm just saying that for his size, you understand why the coaching staff looked at him during preseason was like, you gotta use it a little bit. I don't think that you can teach a dog, a guy to be a dog. But to me, there's like a pretty ready-made solution here is you're keeping the fourth line. You're bumping it to being like Kampf is in there. You're scratching Holmberg. I'm sorry, he's out. And then you're putting Lawton up on the second line, and you're seeing if he can give a little bite and edge and attitude and forecheck and just play out on the wing with your second line, because they're missing that. Like, the best that line looked all year was when Pacioretty was looking solid, where he was like contributing. He was like playing off of Tavares. He was chipping in a goal. He was laying a big hit. And I want to see that line with another physical presence, because the rolling like Holmbergs and the McMahons and the Yarncrocs, all the like will never hit you like even for money in for guys. Give me a guy who hits on that line. Give me a guy who's going to go and dig. And at this point, like I just thought like tonight, having those two lines basically not going and not being able to find anything. The try to me is get Lawton on the second line, put Kampf back down on the fourth line so that they're like an actual shutdown group. And then get Holmberg out there for a couple of games. And if Robertson starts to struggle, then throw in Holmberg for Robertson. But the third line has a little bit of speed to it. And I know that they were removing from it tonight, but like, yeah, I think that's what we're doing right now. If I'm Berube, that's my automatic number one easiest move of the night.
Sure. Yeah. God, you want more from Lawton.
But that's what I'm saying. You got to find out if you can get more from Lawton, because what you're seeing right now is like that. Tonight was a disaster for those guys.
He is on the ice. I got like he's been on the ice for 7 goals total since he's been on the Leafs.
Yeah.
So that's 7 goals in 6 games.
Good in the chat. Shema says, if I told you Holmberg was on our second line in March, you'd think we were selling. And that's totally right. And you and I have liked Holmberg lately. And I actually think that he's had a really good, productive season. They found something with him. Like, I don't like taking him out of the lineup, but it's just like out of all the guys that don't fit, the second line needs something else. And there's a lack of, what is it you say you do here with Tavares and Nylander? I wish they would just split up Tavares and Nylander. I think like that's such an obvious move for them to make. Like, give Tavares Lawton and McMahon or something and let him try to work it that way, and just let Nylander play with Holmberg or
so another line gets caved in.
Well,
like,
my thing is like,
I mean,
Nylander you can put him anywhere.
Yeah, for sure. But I think Nylander really helps Tavares, right? Like, he needs some speed on his line. He needs somebody to kind of transport the puck for him. If you're putting him out there with,
do you feel like Nylander and Tavares, like straight up, bro?
No, they've never had chemistry ever.
Yeah, like,
and it's like they never have. But it's just the way it is. You just play them together.
I'm trying to make Tavares a chop line where it's like put him out there with the choppers, put him out there with Lawton, and then try Nylander on a third line where he's just like Mr. Independent and does his own thing. Because just Nylander doesn't do. What is it even about Nylander's game at all right now where it's like you even feel like his line mates matter whatsoever?
Well, that he can transport the puck and he can pass.
He can find somebody.
And he can. Yeah. And he found Tavares twice in the slot tonight and he got stoned twice. Like, I just like the element of having Nylander transport the puck and Tavares going to the slot and being able to put it in. The elements of it work for me. So you can break it up, sure. But like, I don't really. Do you really want to watch McMahon and Tavares and Lawton play together? Like, is that gonna be better?
I'd rather see it for. I just know what I have with Nylander. Nylander Tavares always feels like the like. Well,
yeah. Listen, it's the same bar you've been going to for 10 years. It sucks. You know, it's not great, but like at least they pour a decent Guinness and like once in a while they got the right game on TV for you. Like that's what they are. It's like, sure. It's your okay bar.
Like, it's basically like the good server left.
Yeah.
And now it's this new girl. And you're always like, can you put the sound on, please? And she's like, oh, yeah, just a sec. And then she goes back there.
She's chatting with somebody at the bar.
Waiting for 50. The
Give me the remote. Give me the remote.
10 minutes in, there's still no sound. They haven't put it on all the right TVs. You're just sitting there like, then she finally figures it out. And you're like, yeah, where's the pint?
This is a convoluted comparison, but
this is a good comparison.
I know what it is. I'm just gonna.
No, it's just you're settled. That's the point. Is like the bar is not great, but you just don't have a different place to go. No. So you just
close enough to my place. I just go there.
Yeah, you're used to it. Whatever. So you just go there, and you're like, well, it's fine. You try to think about something new, and then you're like, it seems like too much effort. So let's just go to the old face.
Every third night I go, the wings are pretty good, so might as well go.
Exactly. You know? I'm tired of it. Okay, back to positive talk.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved McCabe tonight.
Yeah, he's great. Well, top pair is amazing. Like they're a legit top end shutdown pair. I don't know how many minutes they went head to head with McKinnon and that line.
He made multiple plays on McKinnon tonight.
For sure.
It was like
and even Bednar switched it up, right? Like he changed the wingers on those lines. He tried to kind of get some to separate it, to get away from that top pair or whatever. But McCabe was excellent, physical, in the face. He's just got that snarly face, and he was not backing down from McKinnon at all. The play in the third that Simmer outlined where he just like cross checks him, kind of gets into him, puts him into the boards, takes away the puck. That's what you dream about in a playoff series, is that top pair being able to shut somebody down. Awesome night for McCabe.
They were a huge difference for me tonight. Like, first of all, it starts with McCabe trying like a toe drag.
Yeah.
We have that.
He didn't try it.
Yeah. Trying to finish a toe drag. Like, it's beautiful. Like,
like, I didn't know he had that one.
He had a couple of like real physical hits, not like McCabe classic pure staples where the guy ends up like yard sale, open ice, but just was physical all night.
Yep.
I thought just excellent gap control every time. There were so many plays in this game too, where they were dumping it in and he was going out and trying to, and like retrieving it and just made the simple, quick, easy play. Someone's trying to bump him. He's still able to play through contact. It's crazy. And this is a credit to Chris Tanev too, because you're right. It's that pairing. But like, think about what McCabe was without him and how much more McCabe can do those things, like jump up in the rush, play a little bit more aggressive by trying to step up into a hit. Like we always talk about how Morgan Riley needs the guy to be the guy. And Chris Tanev has been exactly that for McCabe. McCabe was good before Chris Tanev arrived, but it's just like this completely different iteration of him now, man. I loved his game tonight. He was a delight.
So I'm looking at
I found myself getting lost in some moments where I was just like watching just him.
So I'm looking at the ice times tonight as really interesting because they were hard matched, right?
Yeah.
They were 25-42 tonight for McCabe and 23-41 tonight for Tanev. And Carlo played 16:08. Riley played 18:15. So they got the top billing. They were hard matched against the top guys. And McKinnon comes out of that game. I think he was a -1, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because they would have been on the ice for the power play, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so McKinnon and McCarr end up a -1. They were hard matched against those guys. It's impressive. It's impressive.
No, it was really good, man. It was really good. Again, like doing identity talk. It's like that's what I'm saying about this game and why I feel better about it than I'm guessing some people will, is like that's your identity, is like your Matthews going, getting goaltending, and that top pairing being able to like really limit where the opponent's top best players get to go on the ice.
Yeah. V says Benoit has 4 points in 5 games. He's our new offensive defenseman.
Yeah. He had a bomb tonight.
Do we get the clip of him walking in? With him when they showed him walking in.
Yeah.
What's going on here? Is there milk in that? Is there milk in that briefcase? Like, I just want to love this guy. I know it looks like poker chips. It looks like that one that you've always had at every college room. Every guy has. Yeah, there we go. That's a great edit. I don't know who did that. Is that a show original? That's very well done. But listen, he spends a lot of time in the defensive zone. I want to love him, and he was pretty good tonight, and he had an assist, and I thought he was physical, snapped it. But God, he's digging around in the defensive zone a ton. He really is. So good night for him. Funny seeing him walk in with the briefcase. Feels like the type of guy that's still in the lineup because all the boys adore him. Like he's one of those guys. He's physical. He'll do anything. He's fighting. He's getting in guys' grills. But
good teammate, you can tell.
Great teammate. But there's not times in the defensive zone where I'm just like, can you break it out ever?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I think he cleared it, right? That was the one that went off old Fallen Kelly there. That was what happened.
Yeah, he shot it. That's how else would he get the point? You thought he was on the power play?
No, it was so funny with the crowd, and they're like, boo, because old Kelly falls. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's in the net. Like, wait a second.
Poor Kelly. I got one thing from before the game as well, which is so Nathan McKinnon sets up the power play goal for Colorado, right?
That entry. Oh my God.
Well, that's what I want to talk about here is like, so Marner makes a good play to try to break it up, and it gets to like center ice, gets a clear. And because it's Nathan McKinnon, and the bench is on the opposite side, but they're still like, they're scrambling because McKinnon immediately has them on his heels. And Marner gets back to the line and gets absolutely walked. And this is how good Nathan McKinnon is this was the pregame show with Colby Armstrong and Nathan McKinnon. So roll this and watch our boy Arm Dog, where Army's just like, hey, let me see it. Let me see the moves, okay? Look at this. This is Colby, who's, I think, 41. And then here is Mitch Marner. and you tell me if you can spot the difference. They're identical. It's identical plays.
He was by him before he knew what happened, and then he doesn't make the read quick enough. He just can go
the exact same thing.
It's honestly the exact same play. You're very right.
It's picture for. It's just bang on. Like that's what it's like when McKinnon comes down on you. Is like you can be Colby Armstrong, you can be Mitch Marner, and he's going to make you look stupid because he's just incredible.
And I love what Simmer said in the broadcast here. He can do anything to you. So you just literally have no idea what's going to happen, right? Like they take away the lane to the net like we wanted to when Lawton got walked when they were there last time. It's like they take away the lane like they're supposed to. And then no look saucer onto the stick of Nichushkin, who he just hammers it. He is just a hammer time every time the puck's near him. But like he's just amazing. And I don't think we talk enough about how he might be just as good as McDavid.
Yeah, I totally agree. You and I have texted about this many times. So I'm like, if there's it's like it's weird because both Colorado guys are like in the shadow. Like I mentioned this on I think it was, did I mention it here about Makar being on pace for 30?
Yep. We talked about that. Yep.
Yeah. So it's just like, he's on pace for 30 and it's like, so few guys have done it. And it's like, when they won the cup, there was like a real Makar moment where people were like, wait, is this the best guy in the NHL?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's almost like they go back and forth where people argue about like, which is the best one of those two guys. And it's like, wait, they both might be the best guy.
Yeah. They're both so good. And I just think the violence in McKinnon's game makes him, to me, just, I don't know, like McDavid, that goal he scored against Utah last night was just like out of this world where there's just no guy has ever gone faster on ice. And I always feel stupid trying to make the case that anyone's better than him.
No, when McDavid does it at the highest level that he can do it, there's just no conversation. Like nobody can touch that thing. But you're right. And both guys are nasty killers who just want to win at all.
More so McKinnon to me. McKinnon has more of that edge than McDavid does. McDavid's a little more pouty than McKinnon is dog.
Yeah. McKinnon, is just dog.
Yeah.
And
he's won. He's won and McDavid hasn't. So like that's the edge for me.
That's definitely the edge.
Yeah.
What I would say though is all of them are Canadian, which is the best.
Thank God. Thank God.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, it's so good.
All so three good. Canadian, none of them going anywhere next year. Olympics, just all three of those guys again wearing Canada sweaters. Boy,
you know what's so funny? It's just a quick Team Canada tangent. We were talking with Valley yesterday, and he was talking about the guys who were best high glove or whatever. And Connor Hellebuck, it's like one of the best high glove guys in the league. I'm like, I was going full Tim Robinson. Sure about that? Sure about that? Saw McDavid shoot one past his glove, didn't go anywhere near it. So are you sure he's one of the best guys high glove? I don't know.
Like, patriotism is back in a big way.
Oh yeah.
Like patriotism is so back that I'm like rooting for this weird scenario where it's like all the Canadian teams get in, even though it's like next year impossible with Vancouver and Calgary essentially fighting for the same spot.
Yeah.
I'm like, give it to me. I want those matchups.
Root for the Habs, eh?
I want them in.
Yeah,
buddy. Of course, I'm rooting for the Habs. What do you think is the number one dream matchup for the Leafs? Is Habs? No question. I don't care how hot they are. If Toronto can't beat the Habs, then it's just like cool, man. Like shut it all down. Then you actually have like the greatest answer of all time. Like you don't even you're doing the like thing in the movies, or wait, it's Entourage where they like offer him Ari Gold and the guy slides the offer across the table. And he's like waiting for it, and he opens it up, and it's like, I offer you nothing. It's like that's what that would be if they lost to Montreal again, man. That's by far the matchup that you want. Like not even close.
The Leafs are back are they tied for first now, right? With that win?
Yeah, they have to be. Yeah, they have to be.
Oh, that's
Florida
good.
didn't play tonight.
Yeah,
I think there was only 2 games. It was like a weird slate.
Yeah, there was. It's only 2 games. I think it's Seattle and the Wild is the other game tonight. Catch the fever on that one. But now I'm just looking at the standings. Toronto and Florida now have identical records, 41, 24, and 3. So should be an interesting race where we all thought was done a mere 3 or 4 days ago. So they're back in the race. But I got to tell you, I would love to play the Habs. I don't know if I want to play the Sens. So
I'm telling you, there's absolutely no question as to who you want to play. And it's the Montreal Canadiens by like and I don't care. I hope they clip this and they run this on every Montreal station. And like, I don't care.
But the thing is,
the matchup.
It's good, but they're not going to like if they'll be the last wild card team, And
probably.
The Washington, the Caps will get them because they have the most points. So
yes. How far back though are the Habs now? I guess because Ottawa was hot at the exact same time.
They're 4 points back of the Sens.
Yeah, that's not over. Like that's very, very, very
not
realistic.
over. Absolutely not over. And the Rangers are 72. They're right there. Islanders have gotten hot all of a sudden. They're 3 back. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. But regardless of who the Leafs play in the first round, it's probably gonna be a red hot team.
Yeah, who cares? You got to win. All right. Leave thumbs up. Subscribe to this podcast. Reach us anytime at JD Bunkis at Sam McKee.
What is that picture?
What would you say like the chances are you could guess who those people are?
Like the actual wrestlers?
I actually think I might have it.
You're a big Peck guy.
What?
I'm not a wrestling guy. I don't know.
I think that's Edge and Christian. Am I right?
Close.
Close. I said Edge.
Yes.
I could see the hair, and I was like, "It is Leafs talk, so we should have Edge."
Yes.
And I don't know anybody else that Edge.
Jericho.
Oh, Jericho. Yeah. Damn it. That's 2 Canadians. I should have got that.
It's funny.
Actually, is Christian Canadian too?
I don't know.
Yes. All the good wrestlers are Canadian, apparently.
I got to say, this is actually very similar to what I look like with my shirt off. So perfect Photoshop. Well done.
I have bigger arms than that guy. So I just want to say.
I've seen bigger arms on a snake than me.
Yeah. Subscribe to this podcast. Leave 5 stars. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at JD Bunkis at Sam McKee. Reach out to us anytime. We love it. Leave a comment. Leave a thumbs up. We always appreciate the people that do that. We will see you
tomorrow night again against the Rangers. Second half of back-to-back, and then Saturday night against Nashville. Lots of shows for us this week, bud. We're just shows for everybody.
Hashtag what was Brett Laurie's thing? Rise and grind. Yeah.
Team Unit.
Yeah. Yeah. Team Unit. Hashtag
Colby was part of that, right? Colby and Tyler Bozak and Laurie, Aaron Sevilla. Team Unit.
Team Unit. That's right. We'll see you then.